Scientists have created an artificial liver using 3D printing, and this isn't some science fiction fantasy. This is real science that might help save lives one day. Let's dig into how it works and why it matters. In 2022, researchers from a company called Novo Nordisk and a university in Denmark published a paper about their creation of a functional artificial liver printed with a 3D printer. Their bioprinted liver contained all the key features of a real liver, including the same types of cells, similar structure, and even the blood vessels necessary for the organ to function. It could remove toxins from the blood just like a real liver would. The artificial liver also had the ability to produce the proteins needed for blood clotting. And when tested, it was able to metabolize and break down some of the same chemicals that a human liver would. But how exactly did they make this lifelike liver? Let's start at the beginning. The process starts with stem cells, which are like blank slate cells that can turn into any other kind of cell in the body. In this case, the stem cells were turned into liver cells. Then those liver cells were put into a special kind of gel that acts like a support structure for the cells. This mixture of cells and gel is what's actually going to be printed into the new liver. The next step is to put the cell and gel mixture into a device called a bioreactor. The bioreactor will apply mechanical forces to the mixture, essentially squeezing it to make sure that the cells stay healthy and retain their function. It also provides nutrients and oxygen to the cells so they don't die. After several days of applying these mechanical forces and other stimulations, the cells start to grow and multiply, forming a structure that looks a bit like a scaffold. At this point, the cells need to be turned into different kinds of tissues, like the tubes that carry fluids through the liver. To do that, the scaffold is placed into another machine called a perfusion bioreactor, which uses flowing liquid to apply forces to the cells. This helps the cells develop into tissues that look and function like real liver tissues. The perfusion bioreactor also gives the cells all the nutrients they need to stay alive and encourage them to grow in the right direction. After several weeks, the artificial liver has grown enough that it can be removed from the bioreactor and used in a test. The scientists who made this artificial liver used a 3D printer to create the scaffolding structure that the liver cells could grow on. They also used the 3D printer to create channels for the blood vessels that supply the liver with nutrients and oxygen. But there are other ways to create the scaffolding structure. For example, scientists at a company called Organovo use a technique called laser-induced forward transfer to print the scaffolding. This technique doesn't require any gel and instead uses a laser to place the cells in the right locations. No matter what technique is used to build the scaffolding, the result is the same. A 3D printed artificial liver that could one day replace a patient's damaged liver. The liver created by the team at Nuna and the University of Denmark was about the size of a small dice and contained about 1 million liver cells. While this may seem small, it's actually large enough to remove toxins from the blood of a rat with acute liver failure. When the scientists transplanted the bioprinted liver into the rat, its blood detoxified as if it had its own native liver. As cool as that is, we're still a long way from being able to create livers large enough for human transplantation. The largest liver ever bioprinted is just a tiny bit bigger than the size of a baby sus liver. Even if scientists could bioprint an entire human liver, patients would likely need more than one to stay alive. So for now, bioprinted livers are most useful for testing new drugs or testing the effects of poisons and toxins. They could also be used to study how genetic diseases develop, which could lead to better treatments for those diseases. While this technology is still in its infancy, it has the potential to change medicine forever. One day soon, doctors could bioprint replacement organs for patients who need them, saving countless lives in the process. So what do you think? Would you get a bioprinted liver if you needed one? Let me know your thoughts. And thanks for watching.